Hello there, everybody. I am here with the Cybertronic Spree, right from, are you guys in Cybertron or Autobot City? Where are you guys at right now?
Well, we're previously from Cybertron, but right now we make our home in Cybertoronto, Ontario.
Oh, okay. Canadians, Canadian Transformers. All right. Well, we'll try to.
We don't have our immigration papers yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah, the government doesn't seem to mind too much that we just kind of shack up here on the planet Earth.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Canada's got a lot of liberal laws, so I guess that's a good place for the Transformers to go. But anyway, like I said, I'm here with the Cybertronic Spree, with Hot Rod and Rumble. Cybertronic Spree, they're a hair metal Transformer band. Is that correct, guys?
That's what we do.
Yeah.
It's funny because the only guy in the band who has any hair is Spike.
Yeah, well, Spike, well, I guess that's about the best thing Spike could ever do is grow hair, I guess, and ride around in Bumblebee. But let's talk about you guys a bit. You know, I ran across you guys across YouTube, and you know, you're on stage rocking it out, and you've got RC, you have Hot Rod, you have Rumble, you have Unicron's head, you have a Quintesson, and you have Spike, all in your band. So tell me about how you guys kind of got together, and how did you make this unholy alliance between Autobots, Decepticons, Unicron, and Quintessons and humans?
Well, it's been a while since the war was going on Cybertron, and me and Spike actually worked in construction. So,
sure,
you know,
okay.
He's got that background, and I didn't really have a job or nothing, so he asked me to come on as a demolitions expert. I was just, you know, making some buildings into rubble so they could put up some new condos and stuff.
Sure.
And then we would always sing to each other on shift. I mean, it was really loud because of all the banging around and the pile driving. But we would always be singing songs from the movie, and Spike asked me if I wanted to be in a band with him.
Well, the backstory to that is, I mean, all of us, we just had to get new jobs after the 1986 movie, which we all started.
Sure.
But unfortunately, Hasbro owns all the rights to that. So we thought, you know, we'd probably be, you know, comfortably living from that point on. But of course, you know, all the revenues, they just kept it at Hasbro. So we were kind of out of work after the movie, which was a real shame. We really we thought there'd be an animated sequel for sure.
Okay. Well, so it's a classic case of the artists getting screwed out of their royalty checks, right? Is that what's going on?
You know, it happens all the time here on Earth, apparently.
It does.
You know, we're from Cybertron. We don't know anything about your Earth laws and royalties. We just kind of took it on good faith. So, yeah, I mean, it was a tough time for us. Times were hard, and you know, we thought maybe we'd get some work with the reimagining of the franchise. With that guy, that human Michael Bay, but then we realized we really didn't want to have anything to do with that. And,
thank God.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
it was a dark time for us. So
sure.
You know, the best way to get through this, you know, was together. You know, Autobot, Decepticon, Quintesson, human, giant transforming planet.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough for all of us, and we thought, you know, there is that incredible, the awesome power of music that can bring it all together.
Well, I mean, no doubt. I mean, the soundtrack to that movie was pretty awesome, and Weird Al was a part of that. So, you know, it unites everybody more than the Matrix can. So,
absolutely.
Yes. So, well, let me ask you something. You said you was out of work after the movie. What about season 3 of the Transformers? Was that a different? You know, I know that was Optimus Prime, but.
Yeah, that guy, man. I didn't like being Rodimus, to be honest. It was like, you know, all the responsibility of like, oh, do this, do that, and then everybody blames you for everything, and they're like, you know, people are like, boo, where's Prime, where's Prime? Well, I just have you know, like, I was so glad to finally give back the goddamn Matrix of leadership, because it's true. I mean, I realized, you know, I am not ready to grow up. I'm only about 6 billion years old. I've got so much of my life ahead of me. I don't need that responsibility. And Optimus, you know, who could replace that guy? He's such a born leader. Whereas, really, I was lost without Cup. And, you know,
Well, you should have thought about that before you try to be a hero, but we'll get to that in just a moment, shall we? I want to drive some hard questions for you, Hot Rod. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. This is your chance to set the record straight, but I got some other questions first. We'll say that for the end, but
what about some questions for Rumble? I'm here too.
Well, yeah, Rumble, I got a question for you, buddy. Okay, so after the movie, after the movie, it was like you and Soundwave kind of got shit on a little bit off to the side, man. What happened about that? What did some negotiations for contracts break down, or what? We didn't see Soundwave and Rumble and Frenzy and all those too much. What happened, man?
Well, my arm fell off.
Well, that will be, that's kind of your trademark, man. Your pile drivers. What happened, man?
Yeah, it was my left arm, right? And now I know you're thinking Def Leppard as a drummer with one arm. Maybe he's talking about that. But what happened was, in the movie, I had to carry Megatron's gun. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. Running into Astro Train, yes.
Yeah. And so what happened is, I picked it up really weird, and I was trying to be strong and tough about it, but really it hurt my left arm a lot, and it ended up falling off shortly after we dumped Megatron into space.
Well, let's talk about dumping Megatron there, Rumble. Well, I think that vote on the shuttle was kind of skewed there. What do you? I thought that Soundwave was pretty loyal to Megatron, or was all that a fraud? I didn't really see you guys step up to the plate for him in that.
Well, let me tell you something about Soundwave. He's all right now, but back then, he was a little different. And you know what he would do? He would record every conversation of every Decepticon ever, just so he could use it as blackmail if the time or if the opportunity ever arose. So
I've heard that rumor.
He's an interesting kind of guy. I mean, I live in his chest sometimes, but I try to not live in his chest as much as possible because there's so many other robots in there at any given time.
Sure.
So, what I like to say about Soundwave is he's like a really stinky brother.
Okay.
But you wouldn't want to. He's okay if you need to get somewhere and you're too tired to walk. But I don't know if I'd want him as my leader.
Okay. Well, you kind of stuck up. Well, you stuck up for him there in the. You and Frenzy stuck up for him there in the shuttle when the Constructicons were trying to take over.
Yeah, because they called him a name that I don't even know what it means. So all I know is that Soundwave is kind of stinky, but the Devastator guy, the Constructicons, they're even worse than he is.
I see. So you were sticking up for Soundwave because he was the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah, and he's better than that idiot Starscream as well. Don't even get me started on that guy.
Well, what did you think about Starscream throwing out his Seeker brothers, guys? I mean, well, Hot Rod, you weren't there, so I don't guess you know, but Skywarp
I watched the movie too. I thought it was a travesty.
Yeah, I was a little upset. Skywarp was always my favorite, and I saw the movie. I didn't even get to see his ass teleport, except getting thrown out of the shuttle. That's all I got to see, and I was a little upset. But I didn't know, he threw his Seeker brothers out, Thundercracker and Skywarp, and I didn't know what your views on that was, Rumble. I know you and Skywarp used to have a few arguments there in season 1 and 2 a couple times. Did you?
Yeah. He was always telling me that. Well, Skywarp always thought that Starscream would be leader eventually, and I kept telling all those Seeker idiots that no one's ever going to replace Megatron because he's too strong. And even when they threw him out, I wanted to stop them, but look how small I am. I'm like maybe a little taller than Spike, and Spike's a human.
Well, hey, you and Frenzy took down Devastator. They're in Astro Train. How Devastator was able to form in there, I'll never know. But you took him down, so you got to have more confidence in yourself, Rumble.
Thanks. Yeah, it's changed since joining up with the Cybertronic Spree. I've had a lot more confidence.
Well, that's good. Well, now let's talk about the music of the band. Now you performed the soundtrack from the movie. But do you is that the only songs that you perform, or do you perform some originals? Have you wrote any original stuff, or what?
We get that question quite a bit, which is really encouraging. But yeah, I mean, when we put the band together, we thought what better way to pay homage to our old acting gig than to cover the soundtrack by these incredible artists,
Sure,
phenomenal artists, and we really wanted to just engage people. And make them remember what a great thing that the Transformers had back in the day.
Yes.
You know, and what a golden age that was, you know, before Linkin Park.
Yeah, just before then, right? Well, I'll agree with you. I think the movie, still to this day, now I know obviously it was a giant toy commercial. I understand the marketing behind the movie, but I think for the time period, I think the soundtrack for an animated movie at the time, and still to this day for an animated movie, is probably one of the best soundtracks that I know of, especially for the time period it came out in.
Absolutely.
Yes, and then also animation-wise, I would still take it today and put it up against, and I know a lot of the animation today is the 3D stuff, but I'm just talking like traditional animation. It still, I think, ranks very, very high, and it doesn't look dated. It doesn't look dated in terms of artwork and animation.
Well, yeah, I agree. I agree
Well,
wholeheartedly. I did some of my best work. That was really just thanks again. I mean,
that was not really animation. It's just the cameras were rolling on us, and that's what we looked like. So we were in our prime in those days.
Well, sure.
Considering our lifespan, that was only like maybe a few seconds worth of our lives, because we're billions of years old.
Well, you guys kind of had a long rest though when the shuttle crashed on Earth, so
yeah.
you know that really kind of rested you up, and you know the little drone came out and repaired everybody. So I think you got, you know, I think that helped you out for the movie. Helped.
Definitely advantages of being a robot, absolutely. And I mean, so far as the music, then I mean that's really what we're happy to do. We get this question quite a bit though, and so I mean, I don't know. I have a feeling, you know, since our first appearance, we've done quite a bit of work. I had this great idea. Well, actually, it wasn't mine. It was the Quintesson. The Quintesson had this great idea that we should rebuild the rest of Unicron.
You can't trust that guy. He's telling you to rebuild the Planet Devourer. You can't.
That's exactly it. And I had the same misgivings as a lot of my human friends who are thinking, you must be nuts. Why would you ever rebuild that? And I thought, what if you just rebuild it to make the show better, but we'll just leave out all of that eating planets, and instead we'll just program him to drink lots of beer.
You're gonna program Unicron. Well, first of all, it's a Quintesson, so you know it's one thing for a person to be Two-Faced. He's got 5, so I'd say fuck that guy. I wouldn't listen to him, dude. He's got 5 faces.
No way, man. Quintesson's my best friend.
Well, Rumble, Soundwave used to be
real smart. You know what though? But we did it. We just recently performed at here in Canada on planet Earth. There's a Transformers convention called TFCon, which takes place in Mississauga, and it's an annual event they put on for years, and it's a fan-run Transformers convention.
Very cool.
And they had us over. We got Teletran 1 to lock us in their coordinates, and we came down. We revealed Unicron's new body to the audience.
You've already messed up. Okay, how'd it go?
Well, and that's just it. Is the crowd went wild. No fatalities.
Oh, well, that's good.
So, yeah. Good. Well, I mean, we also have a spare matrix of leadership. You know that we kind of just in case.
We keep that guy in check.
Yeah.
That's what.
I see.
When Quintesson said, let's rebuild Unicron, well, first you gotta understand, when Quintesson talks, he really only says innocent. And so we need to patch that through Teletran 1's translation circuitry to see what Quintesson's really saying.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And so it's really, I like Quintesson a lot, and I think my favorite Quintesson face is Raph, because he's the one that drinks the most.
Ah, okay.
And so we were hanging out with him, and he said, let's give Unicron his body back. And of course we were all like, Quintesson, you've had too much to drink, man. But what ended up happening was he explained it. He was going to take out the transformation cog, so Unicron would be stuck as a robot. And as we all know, when Unicron turns into a robot, that's when he's most vulnerable, because he could just eat a whole planet when he's in planet mode.
Well,
in robot mode, he's really slow.
Yeah, it was kind of useless, wasn't he? I remember he got him on set for the shoot, and you know, we're like, okay, in this take, Unicron, you're gonna like take your hand and like rake it across Cybertron, killing millions of innocent robots. And he's sort of like, we had to signal him, and there were like bright lights, and we had to do like 50 takes. And the one path of Cybertron there that he was raking, it was starting to look unconvincing because, you can only rake that area a certain amount of times, and then all the buildings and stuff were gone already, and then, so they ended up putting that in post.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
story.
now, this is just me. It's your band. I'm not going to, tell you what to do, but I would be very careful now that he's got a body.
He knows.
If Starscream's ghost shows up and starts trying to make deals.
No. It's all right. We're friends with the Ontario Ghostbusters, so when Starscream shows up, they're going to just bust his ass.
Well, Starscream's, Starscream's an asshole, but he's a coward, but he's a little bit tricky. I'd be careful.
That's true. You know what? I must admit, he's surprisingly competent.
Yes, he's very competent for what? Well,
hey, what is that supposed to mean, Hot Rod?
Let's change stuff. Let's go back to some of the movie parts. Now, guys, you tell me. Looking back at that movie, what's some of your favorite parts? Not counting the scenes that you guys are in, but what are some of the favorite parts of the movie for you?
I like the scenes that I'm in the best.
That's a typical Decepticon.
But I also like when Optimus runs over Ramjet and Thrust.
Oh, yeah.
I hate those guys.
Yeah, screw them.
Why they gotta leave their cones up?
I never understood that either.
Starscream and Thundercracker and Skywarp, they put their cones back,
Mm-hmm.
These guys are all like, look how big my cone is. No one needs to see that.
Yeah, it's compensating, compensating for. Well, first of all, a name like Ramjet. What do you think he's trying to do? So what?
Reggie and I made fun of him relentlessly.
Well, what about you, Hot Rod? What's some of your favorite parts of the movie?
I think one of my favorite parts of the movie has to be the Demolition Derby with the Sharkticon. Those guys are hilarious. I crack up. I couldn't keep a straight face the whole time we were doing that scene. I'm just driving round and round, and they are just the expressions on their faces as I'm running them over, as Cup's knocking them around and stuff. Those guys, they're such a good group of guys. They're so professional, and they train like crazy. Honestly, I think they used those guys in that film 300. Only they had to put human makeup on them and things.
They're also in Piranha 3D.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
They do look very familiar. Yes.
Incredible actors, incredible.
Are they stuntmen in their regular jobs, and they come in like say for the Sharkticon scenes and stuff like that? Or are they kind of stunt sharks off the side, and then
they do it all.
They do it all. In fact, they're part of that. I don't know if you've seen a film called Sharknado.
I have heard of that. Is that them?
Yeah. So there you go. Once again, these incredible, they're professionals. In the traditions of, I believe it would be similar to your Earth's Chinese opera traditions.
Okay.
Like the Cybertronian equivalent.
Ah, gotcha. I gotcha.
I also really like the scene where Starscream gets blown up.
Oh, yeah, he gets disintegrated by Spock. I mean, Galvatron. He gets disintegrated by Galvatron. Galvaspock.
That guy's crazy, though.
Well, yeah, he took a plasma bath for a little too long. Is that correct?
No, that's just an excuse. He was crazy before.
Oh, what was going on behind the scenes? And the movie, from the viewer standpoint, he's still he's still rational like Megatron. So what happened? What happened to him?
I have no idea. I stayed the hell away from that guy the whole time.
He just stayed in the trailer when he wasn't on set. He wouldn't talk to anybody. Just kind of kept to himself. I don't know. Maybe it was that whole being remade by Unicron thing.
Yeah, I guess he's kind of mad about that. I guess he didn't like the control.
We would have these massive parties on set. We just order spaceships full of booze, and everyone would come out. The Autobots Decepticon thing. Now it's just it kind of falls apart off camera.
Sure.
And so we just kind of have a good old drink fest, and yeah, he just sit in his trailer and with the lights off. But he wasn't asleep, because we don't sleep. We're robots. And,
sure.
We'll enter sleep mode from time to time, but that's a facade, really. You don't really need to do that.
Yeah, you're not 3P, or C3PO.
Exactly.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, that's very interesting. Kind of got some gossip on Galvatron there.
I think he was reading Hamlet the whole time.
Galvatron?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, well, maybe. He might have been plotting to kill some people, which he did. So. But, all right, well, now, let's talk about your least favorite parts of the movie. What's some of your least favorite parts?
I dislike it when Michael Bay takes over.
Oh, well. That's that's about all right. I agree with you. All right, Rod, what about you?
You know, I don't know. Okay, I didn't enjoy, at the beginning of the film, I had no idea why they were asking me to pretend to go fishing with Daniel, when clearly I don't fish at all. And I felt like I looked like an idiot because I pull up this fish and, he pulls up this fish and I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's a real whopper. And it's like, I know they were trying to make it funny and it's a whopper for humans but not for robots. But honestly, I kind of was like, guys, this is a serious film about millions of intelligent beings across the universe being swallowed up by a giant planet. How can you have a fishing scene to kick it off? But it made up for it immediately after that with one of my favorite parts, which is Daniel on a hoverboard,
Yeah.
It's the year 2005, and I thought, hoverboards? Yeah, I'm there. I can't wait for the future.
Well, I can't either. I'm still waiting, I guess. But
I don't know what, you humans, man, you dropped the ball.
We did.
I was expecting hoverboards and in fact, I was expecting hoverboards large enough to carry us Cybertronians by the time,
And then there was Back to the Future 2 that they were like, hoverboards worked really good in Transformers. Let's put them in our movie.
Yeah, and they even claimed in Back to the Future 2 that they were real, and I was really let down when I found out that they weren't. So I don't know. I think probably what happened, we developed them and the military's got them. And so we
right, and so now a bunch of surfing military commandos on Earth get to have all the fun.
Yep, and that's they got to take on the surf Nazis. So,
right.
But well, hey, there's threats that got to be taken care of, and if we have to give up hoverboards for that, I guess that's got to be.
What? That's a small sacrifice for Earth security.
You gotta watch about letting them take your freedoms. Like first they take hoverboards. What's next?
Maybe my space bridge pass card. I don't know. I don't see no space bridges either. I don't know what happened to the space bridge.
One of these days we're gonna give you humans it. We're getting around the whole intellectual property thing. Humans have a really big problem with intellectual property. I was watching a documentary the other night about a human who created this thing called Napster here on Earth. It was about sharing things, and people just couldn't have it. I thought, if we can't have hoverboards in the year 2005, what hope?
Well, part of the problem with Napster was a Danish twat got involved from a supposedly metal band, but we won't get into that right now.
Oh, I recall watching.
Yeah, so, all right, now, I've heard rumors on the set that about the Transformers movie. There were actually some of the casualties we see on screen actually happened. Do you care to elaborate on which Transformers besides Optimus Prime died and what was the accidents leading up to that? I heard there was a whole scene cut out that was supposed to be Autobots running a gauntlet and they got annihilated. Is that true?
Well, I can't speak to the Autobot gauntlet scene, but none of those casualties are real. It was all fake. But one day Harrison Ford visited the set and he hurt his ankle.
Oh, did he? Okay. Yeah. Well, is that because it was practical effects on the set instead of?
It's one of those media spin things, man. Harrison Ford ankle turned into Autobot casualties mount up as production continues on Transformers the movie.
Well, yeah. Well, let me ask you this then: Did Han shoot first at Prime? Is that what happened?
Well,
or who shot first?
I think he was waiting for GreedoCon.
Well, what happened was Han Solo wasn't in our movie, so he wasn't shooting at Prime.
Well, Who is, okay, well, all right. Well, let's get into the Prime
Oh yeah,
murder. Let's
get some tough questions for Hot Rod.
Hot Rod.
Let's grill Hot Rod.
Let's grill you. Now, there's some serious allegations on YouTube. I've seen Ultra Magnus host the Autobot Transformer Unsolved Mysteries show, and there's some speculation out there that you was somehow in league with Megatron to allow Prime to get shot, because if we go and watch the film, you jump at him, but yet you really don't do a whole lot. And
No,
he throws you around like a rag doll. And Prime had him. He had a gun on him. You didn't need to stick your nose in that. So what happened, man? What's going on with these allegations?
If I may, I not to defend Hot Rod, because he is a jerk sometimes, but when you're looking at Megatron, this guy is like one of the strongest Transformers ever. So if you got a young guy like Hot Rod, he's an up-and-comer, he's only a few billion years old. Megatron's like trillions of years old, and he's seen every move there is. So, let's say, it would be like a regular human like you trying to fight Chuck Norris.
Well, let me counter your argument here, Rumble. Now, yes, Megatron is superiorly strong, and so on, in normal condition, but he had been fighting Prime, and Prime had beat him up pretty bad. I know he wasn't near death or anything, but Prime had banged him up. You're telling me Hot Rod couldn't have done a little something there? And even if Hot Rod couldn't, why did you jump in there for?
You know what? I thought I was helping. My agent said I really needed more screen time, and I saw the chance. I took it. I didn't think it through. That's the Hot Rod I am. That's how I got my name. However, in hindsight, I really wish I'd have stayed out of it, because, yeah, we could have avoided quite a lot of problems later on.
Well,
that's, again, it speaks to why, I never really felt like I deserved to be Rodimus Prime. I mean, really, it's just, no, I have these issues. I know I'm really, impulsive and really quick to just jump on it. So, these are things I've just got to work through, and, and I should stop beating myself up over trying to be more responsible. I just got to be me. I just got to do my thing. I'm Hot Rod. That's who I am.
Well, being you got Optimus Prime killed, you sorry son of a bitch, and let me tell you something, you ruined a lot of kids' childhoods, and I think you caused a lot of rewrites in the script, so thanks. Thanks a lot, Hot Rod. Thanks.
Wait.
No, it's
Hold
true.
on. Wait.
But then, to be fair, then, there was the whole Quintus on again, in his incredibly, intellectual speak, had the great idea of rebuilding Optimus Prime. I don't know if you ever caught that.
I did.
So we brought him back, and the first thing I did was give him back the Matrix, going, that's it, I've had it with this thing, it's nothing but trouble. I did learn my lesson, and I think that should say something there. It's like, you can't keep a good Autobot down. Prime was the best. I can't challenge that. I just, I had my fun. It was kind of cool being leader, for the whole, hey, Ultra Magnus, stand on your head, and he'd do it, that sort of thing. But beyond that, it's a tough gig, and we got to respect our elders and our leaders and people with the wisdom to kind of see things through. And Prime's that guy. So yeah, we brought him back and we said, here's the thing, and continue running the organization.
Well, if you're so big on Optimus, Mr. I wash my hands of the problem, why is Optimus not in the Cybertronic Spree band?
Oh, that's an easy question. He's stupid. He's a good leader, but he doesn't know about playing music or anything.
Okay, whoa, Rumble, I think you're revealing a little bit much here. Now, when I had the idea for the band, Optimus Prime is legitimately the leader of the Autobots. Do you think this guy has time to come to rehearsal, twice a week? It's a large commitment in its own right, and I know it's not as important as, keeping Megatron and the other Decepticons from ruining the Earth's natural resources. However, it's, you gotta show up for practice. And I was very adamant about that, and he pulled me aside one evening and said he was really proud of me, and that he thinks I've come a long way, and that I can't manage Autobots for shit, but I'm doing a pretty good job managing a band. So I thought it was pretty good. And then, of course, I decided to hire a human manager because the pressure was getting to me.
Well, the cool thing about Optimus is he's not very good at playing any music, but he does turn into a trailer, and he could carry all our stuff.
Oh, so he's the band transport.
Yeah.
I got you. He did it once as a favor, and then he said, "No, I'm not your roadie. Get somebody else."
Don't tell him I said that.
Well, it sounds to me like Optimus is using his benevolent wisdom to keep you in a band so you can keep from causing a bunch of shit to mess up again. I mean, that's what it is. He's like, Hot Rod, I'm proud of you, son. This band's awesome. Stay out of my face so I don't get killed again. All right. All right. Well, now let's.
You'll notice all of the Transformers in the band are the kind of, I would say, fringe. Sorry, Rumble. I mean, really, not that important robots.
We don't really serve as plot devices too much these days.
Sure.
And,
RC, she's phenomenal. You know what? Nobody would hire her. I don't know why she wasn't in every film after that. She's such a talent.
I think she could have been April in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. Well, what about your brother Frenzy? He was a fringe element too, and where's he at?
Oh, he's drumming in a death metal band, so we still stick together. Sometimes we borrow each other's cymbals and stuff, and Frenzy's actually expressed interest in filling in for me sometimes if I'm not feeling too well.
Oh, okay, all right. It's good to know that he's pursuing his dreams as well. So, all right.
Gotta make a living, am I right?
Well, that's true. That's true. You gotta buy all that hair product for your robot hair, Pennzoil 20W40 or something.
No, we don't have any hair.
Oh, but you're a hair metal Transformer band.
Well, I think Unicron would like us to reclassify it as 80s metal. Considering the obvious lack of hair in the
Sure.
band.
Well, I was kind of curious about the hair product aspect of it. But,
on Cybertron, there's no such thing as hair products. When we came to Earth and we saw hair, we thought that was really unusual. We'd never encountered a life form that had hair before.
Well, maybe
maybe
Wheeljack can invent something that works for a change and grow some hair on your head.
Don't get us started with that guy.
Yeah, that guy's a prick.
Well, he couldn't make the Dinobots very smart, that's for sure. But, all right, now, guys, tell me about some of your plans. Now, you just got back from San Diego Comic-Con, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so how was that?
It was interesting.
And? Is that it?
Well, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of people there.
Okay, all right. And, all right, you got anything to add?
There were a lot of humans there. It's hard to move as a robot when you're surrounded by humans. You want to make sure that none of them get hurt. And so yeah, I saw a lot of humans.
Well, we were on the show floor for like a little bit. We spent most of our time in meetings. We were trying to pitch a new series.
Uh-oh, what's the series?
Well, we can't talk about it yet because we're still in negotiations.
Okay.
But you'll hear about it soon.
You can't give us any kind of, hint, what it might be about? Or...
No. Rumble, no.
Yeah, Rumble, keep your mouth shut.
No, that's all we can say on that. In the immediate future, we're going to be appearing once again in front of many humans at Toronto's Fan Expo in the late August.
Okay, that's great.
And so that's a large convention here in Toronto. And as part of that, we'll be performing once again on the same stage as the Cybertronic Spree for Nerd Noise Night, which is a musical event that's put on for acts as specially talented as we are. And we're looking forward. It'll be a 1-year anniversary of the Cybertronic Spree. Getting the band together. So that's a very big party for us. Very exciting. sort of milestone
Okay.
in our new career, you know?
Great. Well, that's really good news. Really good news. Now, I want to wrap it up, but I want to ask one question that's been up for interpretation ever since the movie's been out, and I want to get each of your guys' ideas on this. When Unicron was reconstructing the Decepticons that got thrown out of Astro Train, who became Scourge and who became Cyclonus? Do you know what I'm referring to? There's always been a debate about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who, especially with the Cyclonus one, Bombshell or Skywarp or Thundercracker? Who's the clone?
Cyclonus is Thundercracker.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh.
But it's true.
Okay. Well, what about who's Scourge?
Oh, I think he's Bombshell. But you know what? All those Insecticons look the same to me. And
Okay.
you know, I'll let you in on a little secret. There's more than 3 Insecticons. They're like clones of each other. They're like Reflector.
Yeah, and when the sweeps were a bunch of clones as well. I think. Yeah. All right. Well, what did Skywarp get turned into in Thundercracker? What were they the clones?
I feel like they actually just cannibalized parts of them and then brought them together, sort of amalgam style. Because I mean, the personalities were so different when they transformed there. So yeah, I have a feeling they just took a bit of Bombshell, bit of this, bit of that, and they just made a sweet smorgasbord is what they did. I got you. All right, I was kind of curious what your thoughts were on that, and but anyway, we'll wrap it up. And everybody out there, this is TJ for Skullbanger.net. I'm here with Rumble and Hot Rod for Cybertronic.
I'm Rumble.
He's Rumble. And yeah. And for the Cybertronic Spree, check them out, guys. You want to say anything before we get off here?
Thanks so much, TJ, for having us. The Cybertronic Spree is super excited to be here on Earth and to continue performing for humans everywhere who just love the spirit of 80s metal.
And bring cassette back. Bring
the cassette back. And the metal community is doing that. A lot of metal bands are bringing back the cassettes. So anyway, that's everything for Skullbanger.net. And so
till all are one.
Till all are one. Don't listen to Hot Rod. He'll get you killed.